Jack's survival theory. For over 2 decades, fans theorized that Jack could have survived on the door with Rose, sparking one of cinema's most heated debates. The theory originated from fans believing the door had enough surface area for both characters to survive together. In January 2023, Cameron partnered with National Geographic to finally test this theory scientifically in the special Titanic, 25 years later with James Cameron. The first test placed both bodies on the door in standard positioning, but the door sank too deep in freezing water, leaving both submerged in fatal hypothermia conditions. The water temperature on April 15, 1912 was 28 degrees Fahrenheit or -2 degrees Celsius, where hypothermia death occurs in 15 to 30 minutes. The second test showed survival was possible if both could maintain elevated positioning above water, but exhaustion became the critical factor. For the third test, Cameron simulated hours of swimming, near drowning, and struggle before reaching the door to replicate actual conditions. The key discovery was that Rose's life jacket beneath the door increased buoyancy dramatically. With this reinforcement, Jack might have lived, but it required sustained strength. Cameron's conclusion was that multiple variables, including exhaustion, cold, and will survive, made both surviving not plausible, despite the physical space available. Mythbusters reached a similar conclusion in 2012, confirming the life jacket solution achieved 63-minute survival. Cameron's 25-year-later admission that Jack might have survived adds nuance to cinema's most debated ending. Rather than settling the question definitively, the director demonstrated that the real issue isn't space, but the brutal combination of physics, physiology, and exhaustion. The door becomes a metaphor for survival itself, physically possible, but emotionally and physically untenable. Cameron's reframing preserves the film's tragic power while validating the scientific curiosity that's kept fans theorizing for generations. Wuxing system architecture. All 5 planned Avatar films secretly follow an ancient Chinese philosophical system that perfectly structures Cameron's environmental saga. Avatar, from 2009, represents the wood element, with its forest setting, themes of growth, the home tree destruction, and Jake's spiritual transformation. Avatar, The Way of Water, from 2022, embodies the water element through its ocean setting, themes of retreat and protection, and the Metkayina clan adaptation. Avatar Fire and Ash, released in 2025, represented the fire element through the volcanic ash people and the expansion and swelling of conflict. Avatar 4 is expected to represent the earth element, introducing transformation, human earth, and grounding conflicts. Avatar 5 will represent the metal element, focusing on technology, harvesting, and the final battle between nature and industry. The Wuxing system, also called the 5 phases, comes from Chinese medicine, philosophy, and cosmology, representing cycles of nature. Each element also represents a season. Wood represents spring and growth. Water represents autumn and retreat. Fire represents summer and expansion. Earth represents transition, and metal represents harvest and conclusion. Cameron confirmed his exploration of different cultures, and that fire would be represented by the ash people in interviews. Each film's environmental focus mirrors both its literal setting and spiritual arc. The 5-film plan fits the Wuxing system perfectly, whereas previous 4-element theories fell short. This theory demonstrates Cameron's sophisticated structuring beyond narrative. He's architecting an entire philosophical framework that rewards deep viewing. The Wuxing system allows him to explore 5 distinct Na'vi cultures, 5 elemental conflicts, and 5 spiritual lessons about humanity's relationship with nature. It's not just environmental storytelling, but cosmological storytelling grounded in thousands of years of Eastern philosophy. Ripley's Motherhood mirror. Ellen Ripley and the alien queen are competing mothers in Aliens, a parallel so deliberate it reshapes how we understand the entire film. In a deleted scene, Ripley's backstory reveals she lost her daughter during 57 years of cryosleep. Her daughter aged to maturity without her, becoming the equivalent of an elderly woman. Newt becomes Ripley's surrogate daughter as the sole survivor of the Hadley's Hope colony, immediately triggering Ripley's maternal instinct. The Queen xenomorph is introduced as the film's climax, revealed as the absolute embodiment of motherhood. Both Ripley and the Queen are fierce protectors willing to do anything for their offspring. Ripley destroyed the Queen's ovipositor and eggs in the previous film, eliminating her ability to reproduce. The Queen's motivation is vengeance against Ripley for killing her children. During the climactic confrontation, Ripley uses an exosuit, a phallic extension that matches the Queen's power, to expel her through an airlock. Newt becomes increasingly reliant on Ripley throughout the film, with her emotional bond reaching its peak as they escape the alien nest. Cameron designed the Queen character as a counterpoint to Ripley's maternal role, with both figures embodying powerful motherhood in different forms. Aliens transcends the creature feature genre by turning motherhood itself into the actual antagonist. Ripley and the Queen aren't fighting over dominance, but are two expressions of the same primal force. Cameron created a film where the monster isn't evil, but simply protecting its brood with the exact same fierceness Ripley demonstrates. This psychological complexity elevates Aliens from action movie to meditation on feminine power, maternal instinct, and the warrior-mother archetype. Marriage deception theory. James Cameron's 1994 action comedy presents a theory about modern marriage. Some relationships survive not through honesty, but through shared danger and excitement. Harry Tasker, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is a secret agent for Omega Sector, a top-secret counterterrorism agency. Helen Tasker believes he's a mild-mannered computer hardware salesman. 15 years of successful deception involve daily lies about business trips that are actually covert missions. Harry's paranoia leads him to suspect Helen of an affair with Simon, a used car salesman posing as a spy. The climax features Harry using government resources to trap Helen in an elaborate deception scenario. The Harrier jet sequence in the final act features a vertical takeoff fighter jet, armed missile with a terrorist attached, shot through a Miami skyscraper. The ending reveals Helen becomes an Omega agent, and they start a new mission together as a couple. True Lies functions as both action romp and relationship autopsy. The film's genius lies in never resolving whether Harry's deception destroys or saves his marriage. His secret life kept him engaged while leaving Helen infantilized and uninformed. When she learns the truth, they don't reconcile through honesty, but bond through action. Cameron suggests that some marriages survive not through communication, but through shared danger and excitement. It's simultaneously romantic and deeply unsettling. Abyss, Deep Sea Intelligence. Released in 1989, this underwater thriller takes place at the Deep Core experimental drilling platform at Cayman Trough. The USS Montana submarine sinks under mysterious circumstances, initiating contact. NTI, or non-terrestrial intelligence, creatures appear and are initially described as hostile, but are later revealed as exploratory. The alien communication method involves creating an animated column of water functioning as a remotely operated vehicle equivalent. Coffee, the SEAL leader, mistakes the NTI intentions as hostile and cuts the water column in half, causing the creatures to retreat. In the climax, the alien ship surfaces, raising deep core and surface vessels on its hull, revealing massive scale. The aliens create mega tsunamis, but deliberately stop them before hitting shorelines, sparing humanity. Bud, the protagonist, communicates that humans are worth saving. Original screenplay notes indicate the NTIs travel the galaxy seeking high-pressure, deep-water worlds for colonization. The mothership is implied to be orbiting the moon's far side. The Abyss transforms the ocean from setting into character, an alien frontier that's been silently observing humanity. Cameron suggests that the deepest, most hostile environment on Earth has been home to a sentient civilization capable of planetary destruction, yet the aliens ultimately choose mercy. The film becomes a meditation on first contact, environmental protection of oceans as sacred spaces, and whether intelligence recognizes intelligence regardless of form. Bishop's hidden agenda. Bishop in Aliens presents an intriguing ambiguity. Is he the colony's savior, or a sophisticated spy securing xenomorph specimens for the Weyland-Yutani Company? The theory proposes that Bishop's seemingly selfless actions mask a deeper agenda to ensure a facehugger reaches the Sulaco for corporate research. Given that Bishop is programmed by the company, and the company previously ordered him to preserve facehuggers for transport, his obedience to corporate directives would supersede concern for human survival. Throughout the film, Bishop gains Ripley's trust through heroic acts, retrieving the dropship, rescuing Newt, appearing genuinely concerned for the crew. Yet the theory suggests these actions are calculated to lower Ripley's guard and prevent suspicion of his true mission. Critical moments become suspicious. The power outage killing motion trackers occurs when Bishop has sole computer access. The cargo bay door inexplicably opens, providing the Queen direct access to the Sulaco. Most damning, Alien 3 reveals a xenomorph egg aboard the ship, yet the film never explains how it arrived, leaving a narrative gap this theory fills. The theory echoes Ripley's initial android distrust following Ash's betrayal, but it exploits our desire to believe Bishop is different. If true, it reframes every android as fundamentally compromised by programming, unable to genuinely rebel against corporate interests. However, the film provides no concrete evidence supporting this interpretation. Bishop's genuine heroism, risking himself to save Newt, protecting the crew against the Queen, suggests an android capable of true moral choice. The theory remains purely speculative, leaving audiences to decide whether Bishop's actions constitute loyalty to humanity or elaborate deception designed to appear exactly like loyalty. By the way, if this is your type of content, I post videos like this all the time. Subscribing would really help me out. Straus devotion theory. The elderly couple choosing to die together in Titanic weren't just characters, but real people, and fans theorized their true story inspired the entire Jack and Rose romance. Their real names were Isidore Straus, aged 67, and Ida Straus, aged 63. Isidore was co-owner of Macy's department store. They were married 41 years, from 1871 to 1912, and were an extremely affectionate couple by 1912 standards. They originally reserved passage on the RMS Olympic, but switched to Titanic when Olympic was delayed. When a third officer offered both seats in a lifeboat, Isidore refused, saying he wouldn't board before women and children. Ida's documented response was, "Where you go, I go. Don't argue with me, Isidore." They were last seen together on deck, arm in arm, as the ship sank. Cameron took artistic license with a deleted scene showing their final conversation, while the theatrical version shows them in bed. The theory suggests their devotion became the template for the fictional Jack and Rose tragedy. The Straus couple becomes a metaphor for real love versus romanticized cinema. Their actual story, 41 years of demonstrated devotion culminating in conscious mutual sacrifice, is more powerful than any screenplay. The theory proposes that Cameron recognized this and incorporated their true love into Jack and Rose's fictional narrative, creating a film where the ancillary couple is more historically grounded than the protagonist. Career setback theory. James Cameron's first directorial experience was a schlocky 1982 creature feature about flying piranhas, and fans theorize this failure was essential to his later success. The title is Piranha 2: The Spawning, released between 1981 and 1982, depending on the region. The premise involves genetically modified piranhas with wings attacking a Caribbean resort. Cameron was brought on to direct after impressing the producer with his special effects work. Producer Ovidio Asanitis removed Cameron after 5 shooting days and took control of production. Cameron later joked this was, without a doubt, the finest flying piranha movie ever made. The film has an IMDb rating of 3.8 out of 10. The theory suggests that despite its critical failure, this experience launched Cameron's career in unexpected ways. Cameron was literally fired from his first directing job, yet the theory proposes this experience gave him the foundation and determination for The Terminator in 1984. The film is less important for its quality and more important for demonstrating the theory that early career setbacks don't define trajectory. A 3.8 rating and directorial abandonment preceded one of cinema's greatest sci-fi directors, proving that failure can be transformative. Pandora, hostile environment. Avatar's Pandora isn't a paradise, but is explicitly designed as hell, with every ecosystem element weaponized against human invaders. Humans literally name their settlement Hell's Gate, acknowledging Pandora's hostility. Environmental hazards include a constant siege from toxic atmosphere, lethal wildlife, and aggressive flora. Nettles are plant species that shoot needle projectiles at perceived threats. Stingbats are aerial predators that attack armed humans and easily kill soldiers despite body armor. Thanator-class predators are apex ground hunters, designed to eliminate large threats. Dire horse herds demonstrate defensive stampede responses to human advancement. The planet's consciousness, Awa, actively identifies humans as a virus and mobilizes fauna against them. Magnetic unobtainium fields create hazards for electronic equipment and navigation systems. Jungle density causes humans to lose combat advantage in dense vegetation, despite their technology. The implication is that Pandora isn't neutral, but actively rejects human presence. Pandora functions as a character rather than a setting. Most sci-fi colonies present planets as neutral terrain, awaiting human mastery, but Avatar suggests environmental hostility as an intentional defense mechanism. Awa doesn't just oppose humans philosophically, but marshals biological weapons against them. The planet becomes an antagonist, reframing human colonization as ecological imperialism against an intelligent defense system. Feminist archetype theory. Fans theorize that Sarah Connor, in The Terminator, and Terminator 2 became the blueprint for a new kind of action heroine that rejected traditional gender binaries. In the first film, from 1984, Sarah Connor transforms from vulnerable waitress to combat-ready survivor. In Terminator 2, from 1991, Sarah is portrayed as military-trained, traumatized, and motherly, breaking traditional tough woman tropes. The theory suggests Ripley and Connor became icons of second-wave feminism in 1980s and 90s cinema. Connor's hybrid characterization negotiates gender sameness, meaning equality with men, while retaining maternal instinct. She's muscular and lethal, yet emotionally fragile, rejecting the masculine archetype. The theory proposes her cultural impact established a template for action heroines who are multidimensional rather than men in women's bodies. Sarah Connor didn't just become an action hero, but proved that strength and motherhood weren't mutually exclusive, according to this interpretation. Her arc rejects the premise that feminism requires rejecting femininity. She's fierce, capable, and driven by maternal love, embodying cultural feminism rather than merely imitating male toughness. This made her revolutionary in 1984 and remained influential through 1991. Avatar, spiritual technology. Avatar's most radical idea isn't new, but that spirituality and technology describe the same phenomenon from different perspectives. Na'vi spirituality involves Awa, the Tree of Souls, and spiritual connection to all life. The technological reality is that Awa is a neural network, the Tree of Souls is a biological interface, and spirituality is consciousness transfer technology. There's no contradiction because both explanations are true. Spirituality is what advanced biology looks like. Cameron's implication is that advanced civilizations don't discard spirituality, but achieve it through technology. According to theory, parallels exist where human science eventually proves what mystics intuit, such as quantum entanglement and consciousness studies. Theory suggests the Na'vi achieve digital immortality not through rejecting nature, but through deepening their connection to it. Avatar's deepest theme isn't environmentalism, but that consciousness and technology are spirituality. By making Awa simultaneously real as a planetary AI and transcendent as a goddess, Cameron collapses the science-religion divide. The future isn't atheistic or theistic, but both simultaneously. If this was worth your time, consider subscribing so you never miss new content. Thanks for watching.